There is so much news, it's hard to imagine. If you don't watch this entire show, you would be considered to. Well, anyway, I'll give you a couple of thoughts about what we're going to talk about. There's going to be stuff about the semi. Breaking news we're talking about just in the last few hours. We're going to be talking about people eating crow. It's true. It's true. Crow. Absolutely. We're going to be talking. We're going to be talking about Tesla, you know, going to the moon, sort of. Anyway, that's that and more. We're even going to be talking at the very end. We're even going to be talking a little bit about CERN and I. We did a video the other day about Roth IRA conversions, and there was a couple of questions out there that didn't quite get answered. And CERN is going to make sure that everybody understands what the truth is about those couple of. So we have Cern Basher. Brilliant Advice is the name of his company. He helps people with their portfolios. He helps people with their he gives them advice about finances and things of that nature. So welcome, CERN.
Hey, Randy, it's good to be here. Yeah, we've got a few things to talk about today.
Man, it's a long list.
It's a very long list.
I almost turned it into 3 shows. I mean, this is just.
You could. Yeah, but maybe instead of talking about what we're going to talk about, let's just talk about it.
Oh, okay. Why not?
Yeah. Well, let's start with this.
You're so anxious to get into your slides. I mean, yeah.
Well, I can wait if you like. Actually, I need to.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Sorry, I was on the wrong slide, so we have to wait anyway.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So we left last show talking about Q4 deliveries. And I said, speaking of deliveries, we have a new delivery of a Tesla Semi to DHL.
To DHL.
And I've got to say, this truck looks pretty good.
Yeah.
They've color matched the cab with the trailer very nicely.
Very nicely. Yeah. So
and a nice big green leaf.
DHL, we would consider them to be a major carrier. They have a few trucks.
They have a few trucks. Yep. And this was the news. Here, they've officially taken delivery of its first all-electric semi. And the semi exceeded expectations in DHL's 2-week, 3,000-mile trial. I wish I got a 3,000-mile trial for my Cybertruck. That would have been fun. Anyway, the truck averaged 1.72 kilowatt hours per mile while operating at average speeds over 50 miles an hour. In one test, it did 390 miles while fully loaded with a gross combined weight of 75,000 pounds. So they say our pilot of the Tesla Semi exceeded expectations, proving its ability to efficiently haul a typical DHL freight over long distances on a single charge. And they added that with its range of up to 500 miles, the Semi unlocks opportunities that were previously beyond the limits of heavy-duty EVs.
Yeah.
And we're excited to partner with Tesla to make that a reality. So this will be located in Central California. The truck will travel approximately 100 miles a day, charge about once a week. So that's great.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's very, very cool. Obviously, we're right on the cusp of, I mean, they're making trucks. I guess they're making like 10 a week or something like that. So they continue to make them in anticipation of this rollout. But the ramp, it's supposed to be 50,000 run rate by the end of the year. So we'll see.
That'll be a great ramp to watch. Yeah. Can you believe this? In the Wall Street Journal, something favorable about Tesla.
I was like, what's going on? Because in the show that we did Thursday night, there was like dozens of positive articles about Tesla. And now there's a Wall Street Journal article. And there's one more. I don't think you're going to report on it. I saw it this morning. Was it also Wall Street? No, it was the New York Times. And somebody wrote this longish article about how they've always hated driving, but they tried a Tesla on FSD and changed their life.
Amazing.
It's like crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, this was interesting. It says driving always felt like a chore to me.
Oh.
And the first time I let the vehicle Model Y take control, something shifted.
Oh, you did have this one.
Yeah, this is the Wall Street Journal one. It says the car guided itself through traffic. I felt tension melt away.
Yeah.
A few days before the federal EV credit expired in September, I traded in my 7.5-year-old Model 3 for a Model Y with FSD.
Nice.
So this was somebody who you already had a Tesla, but not with FSD.
Yeah.
And it goes on, was for someone like me who likes to stay in control, surrender has never come easily. Yet there I was, cruising through traffic in quiet surrender to the car's code and sensors. Anyway, it goes on, but that's nice to see that from the Wall Street Journal.
Yes.
And of course, we've heard this for years, right? ICE drivers repeatedly tell me that a Tesla is no fun to drive, right? And then tell me you've never driven a Tesla without telling me you've never driven a Tesla,
I was
right?
so I was so tempted to answer this one, but it was such clickbait.
Well, I thought Lewis did a great response here.
Okay, okay.
Teslas accelerate like a watermelon seed pressed between thumb and finger. No downshift, no getting on the cam, just no spoiling the turbos, just instant go. I think that's a pretty good way of thinking about how Teslas accelerate,
Yes, yes.
complete with the AI generated image of a watermelon seed
Yes, that's great.
accelerating. So thank you, Lewis, for that. That's great.
Yep, yep.
And then speaking of other good news, that's kind of surprising. This is from Consumer Reports. Tesla made it onto the top 10 list for the first time ever in its brand rankings list,
Yes,
jumping from 18 last year to number 10.
right.
And according to Consumer Reports, this is a shocker. Tesla makes the most reliable electric vehicles now,
Right.
as if overnight that just changed.
Well, they said it did. They said
Yeah,
it was a greatly improved, right?
greatly improved.
Greatly improved. Yeah.
In terms of reliability, Tesla ranked ninth with a score of 50, while the only other all-electric company was in the mix, Rivian, was dead last with 24.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, we've been saying it all along, and we've been saying that Consumer Reports has been wide of the mark because they've been unnecessarily dinging Tesla for problems with the screen, with the UI.
Right.
And I don't know about you and your computer. Oh, yes, I do, because I see all the high tech guys that are on my channel always having problems with their computer, including this guy.
Not
So
me.
you've never had a problem with
No,
your
never.
never. Yeah.
Um, Speaking of amazing things, they continue.
Oh, oh.
All right. This is JC, who, as you may remember, is an Uber driver
Yep.
who drives people around in Houston in his Tesla.
Hmm.
And he shows a video here. This is just a screenshot of it. But in the distance is some flashing red lights from a train crossing.
Hmm.
And his Model 3 had planned to go up there and turn right, and then it looks like maybe enter on the interstate.
Hmm.
But because the car saw that, it rerouted and turned 2 blocks ahead down a right-hand turn and rerouted onto the interstate.
Hmm.
And he said he'd never seen that before, right? And it was just seamlessly happened.
Yeah.
And in the video, you can see him checking the screen to make sure it's rerouted properly. And of course it did.
Yeah, I will say, I've told the story already a couple of days ago on the show, but we also, my wife and I came up to a crossing and there was a train on it. And we get really long trains in Riverside. I mean, we get those ones that, you lose count before you get to the end.
Yeah.
And the car decided not to go that way, went a completely different way, all the way through all kinds of twisty turns and roads. And we're like, are we ever going to get home? But we'll never know whether if the car had gone straight, we would have gotten home sooner or not.
Oh,
You
I
know,
think so. You'd probably still be waiting for the train today.
might be, yeah. Because
Yeah.
sometimes they back up and go
Yeah.
farther.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Very unpredictable sometimes. So that was neat. And then, of course, we're getting more videos of FSD's performance in Europe.
Oh yeah,
And who knew, Randy, that FSD would work on roads in Europe, right? And here's a case here of an Italian road that looks like a single lane
yeah.
by US standards. This is a double lane road with no line in the middle.
Huh.
And the car, you can see on the screen, it's pulled over to the right to kind of let this other van pass.
Sure.
And there's numerous examples in this particular video. And I've seen other videos from other countries in Europe,
Hmm.
similar kind of behavior in different types of roads and construction zones and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fog.
Excellent.
Um,
They're talking about it, and it's getting published. I mean, people are getting published in European magazines about their successes.
yeah.
Have you been in a car when you've had a motorcycle come up behind you and splitting lanes, and the car moves over?
I haven't experienced that,
Yeah, I've had that
but
happen. Just we were driving down to La Jolla the other day, and the car moved over to the right a little bit. We're like, what's going on? And
yeah.
Here comes a motorcycle splitting lanes.
I did have an experience, and maybe I shared this with you before, but I was driving on the highway in Tennessee with FSD on, and I felt the Cybertruck suddenly accelerate.
Mm,
And it was already doing, I don't know,
yeah,
75 or 80,
right.
and it accelerated.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? Well, there was a guy coming up behind me, probably doing 150,
I see.
right? And it calculated, I guess, that there's a chance it might run into the back of me. So it was trying to accelerate a little bit, but the car, of course, went to the
Yeah.
left and went around me.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that until the car had passed what the truck was doing. I had no idea what was going on.
So is FSD to the level yet where it could flip that guy off?
That's a new version feature, a feature in a new version coming out soon. Yeah, yeah. Elon hasn't told us exactly which version it's going to be, Randy, but I'm sure at some point. Yeah. All right, back in the US, the robotaxi fleet now apparently is at 150 vehicles.
Mm,
According to this, Tesla just added 10 more robotaxis in one day.
wow.
Okay, the first big step towards a massive rollout this year.
Now, is that
Now,
Austin? Is that Austin or is that both?
well, we're gonna get
Oh,
there.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
good
get there. All
question.
right. Okay.
Yep. So there's a Tesla robotracker.com website.
Okay.
And of course, they're looking at Austin, 29 vehicles,
Hmm.
and in the Bay Area, 122.
Okay. There you go.
And if you look at the total fleet here, it's now 151.
Hmm.
So the Austin fleet looks like it's been pretty flat, and the Bay Area has had a big jump.
Got it.
Okay. Um, you know, I'm assuming this is fairly reliable. People are logging the license plates of the vehicles that they're seeing.
Right.
Who knows?
Hmm.
Um, and this is also interesting. This is something I think that we all knew, but was kind of confirmed here. This is from Waymo. The occupancy data, right,
Right.
in California shows that 90% of trips have two or less passengers.
Hmm.
5% of trips have zero passengers. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maybe there's ghosts that use the cars. I don't know.
Would that be Uber Eats and package delivery and stuff? I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, good point. I don't know. Um, 71% have one passenger, 15% have two, 6% have three, and 3% have four.
Hmm.
So, not much reason to have anything
Yeah.
other than a cybercab. It's only 9% of the rides where that's necessary.
Right. Well, and people can do that if they prefer the model, if they need the Model 3 or the Model Y, those will be in the mix. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of robotaxi and autonomous vehicles, I thought that this piece from Dr. John Slotkin, who is a neurosurgeon, which was published in the New York Times a couple of days ago, I guess now.
Yes, this is where I was
Um,
confused a minute ago. Yeah, okay. This is a great article.
is a great article. And he looked at data from Waymo, data covering nearly 100 million driverless miles. He says, I spent weeks analyzing it because the results seemed too good to be true. 91% fewer serious injury crashes, 92% less pedestrians hit, 96 fewer injury crashes at intersections. The list goes on. Okay. And he says, he's highlighted that here, but let me just read from the article. He says there's a public health imperative to quickly expand the adoption of autonomous vehicles. More than 39,000 Americans died in motor vehicle crashes last year, more than homicide, plane crashes, and natural disasters combined. Okay. Crashes are the number two cause of death for children and young adults, but death is only part of the story. These crashes are also the leading cause of spinal cord injury. We surgeons see the aftermath of the 10,000 crash victims that come to emergency rooms every day. The combined economic and quality of life toll exceeds 1 trillion annually, more than the entire US military or Medicare budget. So staggering cost to accidents and death on the roads. And here we have a neurosurgeon now saying that we need autonomous vehicles, as soon as possible. It would be a shame to not have them on the road. And he goes further and he says, in medicine, when a treatment shows this level of benefit, we stop the trial early. Continuing to give patients the placebo becomes unethical. When an intervention works this clearly, you change what you do. In driving, we're all the control group. Right. And he points out that cities like DC and Boston are blocking deployment.
Right.
Right. And he says cities are not the only forces mobilizing to slow this progress. It's time we stop treating this tech like moonshot and start treating it like a public health intervention that will save lives.
Yeah, I've been talking about this a lot on my show over the last 4 weeks or so. One day it just occurred to me, why are we begging for permits? We should flip the script and we should start doing what he's talking about. We can use his medical expertise, his medical position. I even suggested that we talk to the folks that started the MADD, the Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, and
Hmm.
we changed the name to either Mothers Against Meat Drivers, which is MAMDA, which is like it's not that great. But it's been suggested that maybe it'd be Mothers Against Human Drivers, and you would just instead of MAD, it would be MOD, and they could start a whole campaign that says our children are dying unnecessarily, needlessly.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I've seen some commentary though today on X of some people that are in the community saying, well, I use my FSD, but I still like to drive sometimes. And if you guys switch to where you're going to make it an absolute requirement for all cars to be without steering wheels and pedals, you've lost me. So there'll be that side of the story.
Yeah, I don't know that we need to go quite that far yet, obviously,
Right.
but I do think we need to lift the barriers from allowing autonomous vehicles to expand.
Yeah. 100%.
Right. Now, even if that was done tomorrow, maybe Tesla would say, well, it's great, thank you. We're not quite ready yet,
Yeah.
right? Give us a month or two, or
Right.
whatever it is. And I think Tesla has been appropriately cautious in this. And even Waymo, we all make fun of Waymo and how
Right.
silly it looks in certain situations, but clearly the data support, and here's the example here,
Mm.
Waymo versus a human driver, right? Dramatically lower crash rates.
Sure.
Um, I mean, look at the injury numbers,
Yeah.
right? A lot of the Waymo accidents are very low speed,
Right.
right? And I think the 3 accidents where there were fatalities, it wasn't Waymo's fault. It was the human driver crashing into a Waymo.
Hmm.
Um, and then here, compared to an average human driver over an equal distance, Waymo vehicles had 96% fewer crashes at intersections, 92% fewer crashes with pedestrians, 83% fewer crashes with cyclists or motorcyclists, and 73% less lateral crashes.
Yeah.
Huge numbers.
Huge numbers. Yeah. And so I've also been reporting, so you can add this to anytime you use this in the future, is that all passive restraints combined, seatbelts, airbags, better structure in the doors, everything combined saves 4,000 lives a year. And
Yeah.
this would save 35,000 lives a year.
It's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we're going to look back on this one day and say, how silly were we
Right.
that we didn't, focus on this sooner. I mean, this is just such an obvious thing to focus on.
100%.
But I think we're getting there.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, Randy, you and I,
More articles like the one that doctor wrote would be great.
yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, it's Waymo data, and he was sort of criticizing Tesla a little bit for not making their data available. I'm sure they will at some point, but they haven't yet. But kudos to Waymo for doing that, and kudos to him for digging through that and looking at the results.
Right.
It's good, I think, to come at it from a medical practitioner's point of view. That's really helpful. It's fantastic.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Randy, you and I like the truth, right?
We do.
So apparently now we have it. GM's CEO Mary Barra has said that when Biden said that she deserved the credit for EVs, that she actually told him that I think a lot of that credit goes to Elon and Tesla. And then she goes on to Andrew Sorkin and says, you know me, Andrew, I don't want to take credit for things. Well, Mary, it took you 4 years to say this. Couldn't you have come out like the next day or that day and say, thank you, President Biden, but Elon really deserves the credit here?
Yeah.
It took you 4 years to get a conscience about this. I'm sorry, but this, this doesn't do anything for me. It actually makes it worse, in my opinion.
Well, and also the modifier, a lot of the credit.
A lot, yes, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, yeah. Anyway, that's that.
That's that.
All right. Well, apparently Elon lives rent-free in a lot of people's heads.
Yeah.
And another example of that is Sam Altman. And now that putting AI data centers in space is the obvious thing that's going to be the next big thing, he's publicly apparently talking about building a rocket company. Because how else is he going to get his data centers in space without his own rocket company? Because he doesn't want to call Elon and say, "Hey, can you send these data centers into space for me?" He's going to take the easier route, Randy, and
Yeah.
develop his own rocket company.
Yeah, right.
But it'll be a non-profit one, though. Don't worry about that. And Dr. Jack says, looks like another case of Elon envy syndrome.
Oh man.
Bezos was the first to be diagnosed. Now Sam.
Oh my goodness. Well, um, there's a lot of talk on the street right now and even internal memos at OpenAI that they're falling behind the rest of the crowd. They cannot afford to fall behind.
No.
They are the ones that don't have money and have to raise capital. And they're now, almost everybody agrees it's Grok and Google, in the lead right now, and that these guys might be falling behind.
Microsoft's going to have to buy the entire company.
They have to buy the whole thing.
All right. We didn't have any of these in our last show, but here's a cartoon. We've got the markets there on the therapist's couch, and the therapist says, the problem is you're crazy. That's some pretty straight talk from a therapist,
Pretty
Randy.
straight talk. Although if you look at the VIX today, we're back to risk on again. I think the VIX fell under 16 for a minute. Let's see here. Yeah, 1607. That's pretty risk on to me.
Now, this next chart I thought it's good for long-term investors to keep this in mind. Right. Everybody talks about how the stock market is like a casino.
Right.
But Peter Mallouk is saying here that the longer you play in a casino, the greater the odds you lose. The longer you own a diversified portfolio of stocks, the greater odds you win.
Oh, okay.
The only similarity between investing and a casino is that if you do it right, you're the house. So that actually investing is like a casino. You can be the house if you do it right.
Yeah.
So he's showing here that over 1-day periods, if you just invested in the S&P 500, there's a 53% chance of making money.
Mm.
Okay, over 1 month periods, it's 62%. 6 months, 71. 1 year, 75. 3 years, 84. 5 years, 89. 10 years, 94%. So there's still a 6% chance you can lose money over 10 years in the stock market.
Yeah.
Okay, but over a 20-year time period, and so far all of history, knock on wood, not investment advice, past performance is no guarantee of future results, it's been 100% chance of making money. So unless your time horizon is, long, there's a chance you lose money investing.
This is a little bit off the subject, but George W. Bush suggested taking 25% of the Social Security Trust Fund and putting it in the S&P. If we'd done that, we would never, ever, ever have a problem with today. Can you imagine having put that much money into the S&P back in 1902? I'm sorry, 2002. How much that would be worth today?
The problem is, Randy, was ever any money in the trust fund?
I see. That was that. Yeah.
Right. If we want to talk about, quote unquote Ponzi schemes, where actually is that money?
Yeah.
It's on paper only, I believe.
No, there's an actual trust fund. It's in T-bills now. So we would do much better in the S&P.
Yeah, sure. So they say.
So they say.
All right. Speaking of market wisdom, Randy, you climb to the top of the mountain, you get to the top, and the guru's up there, and he says, buy the dip.
Buy the dip.
So for anybody that's wondering, we've saved you the trouble. You don't have to climb the great heights. Risk life and limb. Here's the answer.
That's it.
Yeah. At least he didn't say the answer is 42.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. All right. Best performing stocks over the last 30 years. As you know, I like to look at these long-term numbers. Number one at the top of the list with a great name, Monster Beverage Corp.
Monster beverage.
has compounded at 35% per year. It's up, what is that? 817,000%.
Yeah.
Phenomenal result. NVIDIA's number 2, followed by Amazon.
Hmm.
But the number 1 compounder, if you look at the annualized return, about 2/3 of the way down, is a little company called Tesla.
No kidding. Wow.
And the second best compounder on the list is Broadcom.
Broadcom. Interesting.
The Tesla compounded just under 44% per year,
Wow.
and Broadcom 42. NVIDIA's been compounding at 37%
Hmm.
since 1999.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, I mean, that's incredible, obviously, to compound at that rate over a long period of time.
Yeah.
But on this list, Tesla is the fastest compounder
Yeah.
since its IPO in 2010.
And we'd all be disappointed if they only went up 42% in the next 12 months.
Right. That's right.
We'd be like, what? You
Yeah. Yeah. But, there's a good smattering of different companies on this list. Yeah, and of course, past performance is no guarantee of future results. I see some names on this list that I highly doubt will be able to compound at the rate they have historically, but
Right.
we'll have to see. All right. Employment. I don't know about you, Randy, but this looks like it's kind of going in the wrong direction. What's going on here?
Well, okay. So I've been reporting on this in details. So this is something that I pay a lot of attention to. I actually predicted this even 2, 3 weeks ago, said we could have negative months, and that's fine. That it's expected, that it doesn't say there's anything wrong with the economy, that it has everything to do with the outflow of migrants. So where we were adding about 3 million migrants a year over the last 4 years, this year we've got 2.3 that have already been sent home or decided to take their own decision to go home, pick up their $1,000 on the way. So if you got normally 3 million coming in, and now you got 2.3 million going out, that's going to have a dramatic impact on employment. And we're seeing the biggest impact, according to this morning's numbers. No, according to their numbers, the biggest impact is on small businesses.
Yeah.
And so that question is yet to be figured out. We get the National Federation of Independent Business numbers next week. So it'll be interesting to see what the small business owners are saying about the economy right now.
I saw that Jeff Lutz had a post about that this morning. So next time you talk to him, you might want to discuss that. He had some strong words about that.
Strong words about this or the NFIB?
About the small business impact on small businesses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. This chart, by the way, is a 3-month moving average, so it's smoothing out some of the fluctuations, but it's obviously you can see the trend. Should the Fed have cut rates sooner, Randy, and more aggressively?
100%, but that's for different reasons. So on my channel, the reasons would be that it's a bifurcated economy.
Yeah.
Everybody over 100,000 with 100,000 in income with assets is doing well. People under 100,000 without assets are not doing well. That was all created by the massive amounts of inflation and the inability of the wages to keep up with that inflation. So you had real earnings going down. So now you have real earnings going up again. You've got inflation under control as far as I'm concerned. But then you have the other bifurcated economy, which is tech doing well, healthcare doing well, and up until this year, government employment doing well. But you had transportation, manufacturing, durables, small business all doing poorly. And so what do all of those four things have in common? They all need credit cards, people that spend money on credit cards.
Low-cost financing. Yep.
Yep. And so we need those guys. Those are the ones that are needing the financing to come down, the Fed numbers to come down, because that'll impact car loans, it'll impact all that. Yep.
Okay. Yep. All right. Well, then here we go. We've got the bull showing up at the Santa Claus thing at the mall.
Hmm.
He's trying to sit on Santa's lap there, not successfully, and Santa's probably happy about that. He says more rate cuts,
Yeah.
and the elves are saying, "Yep, same old, same old."
They're both always asking for the same thing. Yeah,
All right. Well,
you do know that we had additional numbers this morning on labor, which
yeah.
I did report on, but some people may not have heard it. We had extremely low numbers of initial unemployment. In fact, so much so that only one time in the last 50 did we have a number this low. And so you have the expectation would have been that unemployment numbers would be going up, but they were down dramatically. So that was an interesting piece. In fact, the bond market took a dive. What do you call it? The yields went up today, probably based on that news.
Is that a vestige, though, of government shutdown and reporting not coming through properly, or something else?
We've now got 2 weeks in a row of it being under expectations.
Yeah.
What it would suggest, if you didn't have some other overhang, it would suggest that there's not as many people. There's still not people being laid off. Um, the biggest complaint from small business owners and medium-sized business owners is the wrong skill sets. So it's not that we don't have enough jobs, it's that people have the wrong skill sets. And so it could be that these companies are holding on to their skilled employees, and they've already let go now the ones that really weren't that great. And so
Mm.
you are seeing it take longer to get a job once you've been laid off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a chart that we show that Charlie puts together at Creative Planning. Nice summary of different asset classes. This is through the end of November.
Mhm.
You can see the 2025 column there and highlighted in gray. Gold is continuing to do well this year. And then international and emerging market stocks are number 2 and 3 on the list.
Hmm.
NASDAQ 100 up 21.6%, and US growth up 19. And then we have so the S&P 500 up 17.6% so far this year.
Yeah.
It's a completely green year except for one asset class, and that's poor lowly Bitcoin, down 3%.
Yeah.
Although I think since this chart's come out, Bitcoin is now in the green for the year.
Is it in the green again? Okay.
Yep.
Well, yeah,
Yep.
I guess silver is not one of the things they follow because I think silver is outdoing gold right now
That's done well. Yep.
for this year. Yeah.
Yep. But I don't think there's ever been a year where pretty much everything is green and Bitcoin isn't.
Isn't? Yeah, I know.
So that's been a bit of a,
And
strange occurrence.
and Bitcoin's down a bit this morning. So
It's bounced back, I think, from where it was at the end of November.
yeah, oh, it
Quite a bit.
definitely bounced back from last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, just wanted to share that chart. We try to be consistent there. And of course, this cartoon goes along with that. Um,
Yeah, you'll have to describe it for those who, are listening in their cars.
yeah, well, it's the market direction, and we've got the bear on one side stepping on it, and it's red. And then on the other side, the bull is stretching the green as much as he can, as high as he can.
Right.
He's doing pretty well, actually, all things considered.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So we did a show over the weekend about Roth IRA conversions. We covered quite a bit of ground.
Yeah.
There were a couple of things I think in there that confused me, it perhaps confused both of us. And so let's just take a couple minutes and just kind of cover that again.
In fact, I will at the end of this show, well, we're almost at the end of the show. I will put up a card for people that didn't see that show. It was phenomenal. And people should go back and check it out, and we'll put a card up for that.
Yeah. So I had some confusion about the 5-year rule, and it turns out there are 2 of them. So 5-year rule number 1 is for Roth IRA earnings, right? So tax-free earnings withdrawals. So this is, as I wrote here, this is the rule people are thinking about when they ask, when can I withdraw from my Roth IRA tax-free?
Mhm.
To take out earnings tax-free, both conditions need to be met. You need to be 59 and a half or older, or it's been 5 years since you opened any Roth IRA.
Yeah.
Okay. So those 2 conditions. If both are true, then the earnings are 100% tax-free. Okay. This 5-year clock is global. All of your Roth IRAs share one clock. If you open your first Roth at age 20, contribute $100 to that, even if you don't contribute again until age 60, at age 59 and a half, your earnings are tax-free. The clock
So,
started decades ago.
so basically, everybody should open a Roth IRA with $100 right now,
This,
and
yeah,
they might use it in the future. They might not.
right. Or, when you're younger, when you're 18,
Right,
just go ahead
right.
and open that Roth. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Rule number 2 for Roth conversions, and this is what our show was about, right? So this rule only applies to converted amounts, not contributions. Okay, so there's a distinction, right, between contributions and conversions, converted amounts.
Right.
So when you convert from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA, you can withdraw the converted amount tax-free, but you must wait 5 years to avoid the 10% penalty if you're under 59 and a half.
Hmm.
Each conversion has its own clock.
Hmm.
Okay. This prevents people from doing conversion and then an early withdrawal.
Right.
As a loophole to access pre-retirement funds early.
Okay.
Again, key points. Converted principal is never taxed again.
Hmm.
It may be subject to a 10% penalty if withdrawn too early. And once you reach 59 and a half, the 5-year conversion penalty disappears.
Right.
So simple mental model. There's 2 clocks, one for the Roth account and one for each conversion. So hopefully that clears it up.
Hopefully that does. We'll believe it unless we see it in the comments that we still have confusion. So please let us know if there's still confusion on that part. And of course, we'd love to always hear from you in the comments below how much love you want to send CERN, because
That's all right. Yeah. Send love to Randy. That's good. But Randy, here's the second one, the clarification that I wanted to
there's
talk
another
about.
one. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I felt like you were sort of ending the show there. I was like, wait a second.
I thought you were done. Yeah.
Yeah. So IRA beneficiaries,
Ah,
right? And this whole 10-year rule thing.
yeah.
So most non-spouse beneficiaries must fully distribute all assets from the inherited IRA by the end of the 10th year following the original owner's death.
Okay.
Okay. Now there's something called eligible designated beneficiaries, surviving spouse.
Mhm.
They can roll over the IRA and treat it basically as their own.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Deferring RMDs to their RMD age, right now 73, eventually to be 75 starting in 2033.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can treat it as an inherited IRA if they want to. Okay. They have a choice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you're disabled or chronically ill, you can take distributions based on life expectancy. And if it's a minor child, they're exempt from the 10-year rule until they reach the age of majority. So if your 5-year-old inherits an IRA, they don't have to start taking money out until they hit 18.
I see. Okay.
Okay. So that defers growth a little bit more. All right. That was for traditional IRAs. Now let's talk about Roths, which was the topic of our show.
Conversation. Sure.
Okay. So for non-spousal beneficiaries, there's a 10-year rule. Okay. There didn't used to be. So there's some people still on the old rule. But this is going forward. 10-year rule, right? You must empty the account within 10 years of the owner's death. Okay. But there's also a 5-year rule. If the original owner had the Roth for at least 5 years, withdrawals are tax-free.
Mm-hmm.
If the account is less than 5 years old, the earnings portion of the withdrawal will be subject to income tax. So there's some wrinkles, right?
That's a wrinkle.
Yep. Withdrawal options. You can take a lump sum or you can spread out your withdrawals to align with the 10-year deadline, but it kind of has to be like 1/10 of the portfolio as you go. Like you can't just be at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. No penalties. We will not be charged an early withdrawal penalty regardless of your age.
Okay.
All right. For spousal beneficiaries, which is most common, treat it as your own. You can roll it into your inherited Roth. You can roll the inherited Roth into your own personal Roth.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can treat the inherited account as your own.
Mm-hmm.
There's no 10-year rule. You're not subject to the 10-year payout rule, and it can take distributions over your lifetime.
Okay.
And of course, the withdrawals are tax-free.
Right.
Okay. So with that, we come to this last final cartoon. Guys are walking through the cemetery, and the guy says, "Yeah, the dollar was really ripping." And on the tombstone, it says, "R.I.P. U.S. dollar."
Yeah. So I asked Grok a week ago to talk to me about the dollar. And Grok came back and said that the dollar, since November 1st, just before the election, until now, And Grok said at the time that the small basket of currencies, which would be like the major industrial Western countries, the small basket, I guess it includes Japan, the small basket of currencies, we were down 3%. But on a large basket of currencies, we were up 3% since that date.
Hmm.
Neither one of those would be really earth-shattering one way or the other. And the headlines are talking about, oh my gosh, the dollar's down 10% at one point, they were talking, and maybe it was down 10%. But 10% from what date? This is the part that always gets my goat.
It's a relative thing. Yeah.
A relative thing. Is it
Yeah.
down 10% from January 1? Well, why does January 1 even matter other than we tend to think of things in years? So I wanted to see what it was from before the election until now to see the impact of the Trump year. And that's what Grok said. I got to tell you that, and I haven't finished this. I haven't finished this, so maybe I'll just tease this for a future show. Is that this morning, Grok gave me very different numbers. And so I said, Grok, you gave me these numbers a week and a half ago. You gave me these numbers this morning. What's going on? It was the longest thinking I've ever seen Grok do. It went on, and it was like 5 minutes, and finally came back and said, "Well, it could have been this, and it could have been that." So I have some more research to do.
Yeah. You need to be careful using Grok in that way. Um, yeah, in terms of the numbers. By the way, I'm in the middle of writing a three-part series on this concept of energy as money.
Oh, neat.
And the first one is published on X, and maybe you and I can do a show on this sometime. But
100%.
I'm still working on part two and part three. And the reason I'm writing about it is because Elon talked about it at the annual meeting,
Yeah.
and he subsequently talked about it as well.
On the interview with that Indian
Yeah,
blogger, no, yeah,
yeah,
podcast.
podcaster.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, more deeply explore that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so stay tuned for that, Randy.
Did I tell you? I know I've said it on the show before, but I did a paper in I think it was in early junior college. I did a paper where I said the future energy would be the currency.
Well, you're in good
Exactly.
company with Henry Ford and
Exactly.
others.
Yeah, but I hadn't read their stuff, so
Yeah.
so it was kind of fun to say, "Oh my goodness, we've come full circle." But I can certainly understand it. But I'm very interested to see your take on it because it's like, okay, there's you can wrap your arms around it from oh, that makes sense. It's kind of like Bitcoin. I can see what people are talking about on all the negatives with the current currency.
Hmm.
I can see what people are talking about in terms of the safety and security and the non-control by any government of a Bitcoin. But there's a part in the middle that's like, but isn't this a Ponzi scheme and it doesn't have any real value? And that's what everybody talks about. So the same thing's true with energy is I can understand why it converts from energy into intelligence or into wealth. And I can understand the problems again with the current currency. But again, how do you measure it? What's maybe you're going to deal with that. What is the underlying thing that are you counting all oil reserves and all natural gas reserves as energy? And that's your pile of gold that is based on, so there's all kinds of questions.
Well, and there's some interesting things too, because if you think about the U.S. being a quote unquote, petrodollar,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
world's supply of oil is traded in U.S. dollars.
Right.
We kind of already have kind of an energy-backed currency,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? But that said, there's nothing stopping the government from just creating as much as they want.
Yeah.
So there's no controls there. But the other thing is you think about too, and Elon's talked about this, that that money, the purpose of money is to allocate labor,
Hmm.
right, over time. And I would also add capital to that, labor and capital.
Sure.
But in a world where you have robots that are going to massively expand the labor force,
Right.
and he's talked about this, he says, well, what's the purpose of money at that point?
Right. Right.
Right. And the example is if you're on a desert island, you're the wealthiest man in the world, that means nothing.
Exactly.
right?
That,
So
but that's only one example. So I think you and I even talked about this maybe 8 months ago, because Tony Seba came out with a new book,
yeah,
and he was talking about, well, we're no longer going to be in a scarcity economy.
yeah,
That he looked back at all of history and said, well, there's always been these scarcity things, and what you were paying for was not labor, it was not capital, but rather you were paying for scarcity. You were
yeah,
bidding up scarcity, and I get that. And I think we're probably still in that scarcity economy, but I make the point in the book, AI Rising, that there's still going to be plenty of scarcity.
sure,
And the number one example that people seem to get is when you go to a Taylor Swift concert, there's only X number of seats.
yeah.
And so if you have lots and lots of money and you have very few expenses, you're going to start bidding up the things that are still scarce, one of which would be Taylor Swift concert seats. And you can't make more seats, you're too far away. She can't do more concerts, she's already exhausted. Now you could get more artists that
Yep.
could do more concerts, but they're not going to be Taylor Swift. You know,
And
so
yet,
and I'm
what's
not, and by the way,
interesting,
I'm not a Swiftie, but I'm just using her as the example.
yeah, no, it's interesting, isn't it? Because yet the cost of that music and the distribution of it is going to come down to next to nothing, and it already has.
Right, right.
Right. In fact, you don't pay for music anymore. You just
No.
pay a subscription to
Yep,
access a music service.
exactly.
Right. It's too cheap to meter.
Right,
Right. Just
right,
like telephone calls have become
right,
and so on. And that's the point with basically everything. It becomes too cheap to meter.
right.
But your point, I've taken on a tangent there, but your point is that there will be some things that are very scarce.
Mhm.
One of the things that people talk about is like oceanfront property.
Right. Mhm.
Now, we do have examples in Dubai and Malaysia and other places around the world where they've reclaimed land.
Right.
They've created islands, they've created, more shoreline. So as energy costs come down, as labor costs come down and all this stuff, then we'll do more of that too.
Mhm.
But ultimately, yeah, you're right that there's always going to be some things that are scarce. And the question is, can we have a form of money that is tied to energy but also scarce? Right?
Yeah,
And so
not
that
unlimited. Yeah.
right, that's where it gets interesting because ultimately people are going to be looking for a place to store value.
Mhm. Mhm.
And where could that be?
Right. It will
Right?
will it still be in housing?
Yeah.
Some people argue that we do not need to live near waterways anymore. We will be able to go off grid, so people will be able to live in the mountains or live in the desert or wherever, and have all the resources that we do now in a home. So does that all of a sudden dramatically drop the value of homes that are currently in cities or near waterways because we no longer have that absolute need? On your oceanfront property thing, I've thought a lot about that because I spend a month in Maui, I mean, sort of Kauai every year, on a cliff overlooking about 180 degrees of ocean.
Mm.
I, you know, it's pretty funny. It's under 900 square feet, and I pay $10,000 a month to stay there. I would never pay $10,000 a month for a mortgage for 900 square feet. But so the scarcity thing, and you can say, well, and there's lots of shoreline. I mean, in the world, there's lots of shoreline,
Hmm.
but some of it's not a very weather nice place, and some of it the shoreline doesn't look that good. Some of it's got other. I know even living in Santa Monica for the first 4 or 5 years as an adult, I was on 4th Street, so I was close enough to the beach that we had lots of days when we had the bad smell of fish coming in. They called it the red tide, and the fog was not good. The fog was always so. Yes, Santa Monica is one of the wealthiest cities in the world, and yet there's some negatives there that
Hmm.
maybe you don't want to do if you're anyway. I've gone on way too long.
Anyway, these are all topics to further explore. I think it's
Yes.
interesting to think
Yeah.
about, where we might be headed.
Yeah.
So many unanswered questions.
Many, many unanswered questions. Very much looking forward to your 3-part series. I'll have to go on X and look up part 1.
Sounds good.
All right. I think hopefully we've been all over the place today, CERN. So somebody should have gotten something you know, from some part of what we covered.
Well, in this show, if people were missing the Cybertruck content, look at the previous show to get that.
That's true. That's true. We should put that card up too. So put the card up from last weekend where we did the
Roth
Roth Ira
conversion.
conversion, and we'll put the card up also from Thursday night show where we had quite the interesting Cybertruck set of slides. Very, very funny and interesting. All right. We'll do both of those, sir, now that you mentioned it.
Fantastic.
All right. As always, thank you for being a part. And to all of you out there, it has been great talking to you.
Thanks, Randy.